Okay, welcome to the Mind of Mus podcast. I'm your host, Mus Ali. It still seems a little bit weird saying my name out loud. Tell the truth, it's not my actual name, but close enough. We don't need to go into what birth certificate names, but Mus Ali does the job. Most people can pronounce it, and it's nice and short, and it's gone out there enough for enough people to know me by that name, so we're going to stick with it. But yeah, Confessions of a Personal Trainer. I am here to talk about health and fitness in the context of incorporating it into your day-to-day life, basically, without compromising your priorities. And that will look different for different people, but trying to take the conversation away from this go hard, go home, you know, it's a lifestyle, you got to show commitment, which so far hasn't really been practical for the majority of people. So some people have done really well with it, and whilst it's a great way to approach things for a few, there are still many people out there that aren't getting the benefit of healthier choices, exercise, and hopefully these podcasts can serve to get more people to be active and get more people to think about their well-being and their health. So that is what I'm looking to achieve with these. Cool. Right. I'm going to move on to today's topic. Another side note, actually, I've also, I'm not going to re-record these too often. I think I'm just going to sort of spitball and flow with it. If I go off on tangents, please do forgive me. Anyone who's ever spoken to me in person, you guys will know I have a tendency to do that. I also have a tendency to look off into the far distance as I search my brain for answers. But it is called the Mind of Mus podcast, so this is all, I suppose, a insight into my mind. All right, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Um, is it worth having a training plan? So, what are we talking about? Let's define training plan first. So, a training plan generally is a sort of structure that's been created, hopefully, with you in mind. Some training programs haven't, and the idea is that the structure is designed to get you from where you are right now to wherever it is that you're trying to go. Sounds good, right? And we have been able to see that if we do these exercises for this many sets, with this many repetitions, with this much rest, in this particular order, or a multitude of ways you can put a training plan together, we have seen lots of different outcomes and consistency in that. So we know that it works if we plan, if we have a plan of action, we follow it through, it's going to work. So that's great. No brainer, right? Should we then all have a plan of action? Well, I'm not so sure. So, I put this out on Instagram actually, that um, would people want a plan, or are they happy to freestyle it? And majority of people, of course, opted for a plan. What was interesting about that particular poll was most of the people I ask that will respond to these questions that I ask, I actually know personally, and it was interesting that a lot of the people that actually said yes to having a plan were not people that actually had a plan themselves. And there were people that I often observe freestyling, and that seems to be their way of training, and they actually enjoy that. So it was quite interesting that those individuals opted for a plan. I don't know what that says exactly, but I'm not going to unpack that right now. Um, but here's why I'm not for having a plan for every single person. And the reason being is plans are great on paper. They don't always work out very well in real time. So if you've got like a dedicated athlete, right, at whatever level, this person is committed to going from point A to point B, and I don't know, it's their job. They could be like a professional football player, or a professional golfer, or an astronaut, or something, right? Those individuals are probably likely to follow the plan through because that's all they really have to do, right? That's their job. Now, for the rest of us everyday people, and probably the individuals that would be listening to a podcast like this, it doesn't always go that way. So almost nothing ever goes according to plan. I'm sure you can all relate to that. So we could set out over the next 4 weeks, and we could say we're gonna train this amount of days, and in these training sessions, this is what we're gonna do, and these days are gonna be in this training session, you're gonna do this exercise at this intensity and this exercise at this intensity, and that's all well and good. Then life happens. Either you didn't get a very good night's sleep, you get something comes up, you get really busy, you can't do the training session. You were rushing around, there was traffic, delays on the tube or whatever. You didn't manage to eat, you didn't manage to hydrate yourself. A number of things can happen that were unforeseen that then interfere with your ability to follow through on that plan. Now, the old sort of thing of no excuses, again, I don't buy into that. I don't think, right, okay, let's not make excuses, but there are legitimate reasons, in life as to why sometimes we just can't get something done, and that's okay. So having a plan is all well and good. Our ability to see it through, that's the real issue. So one, if you are going to have a plan, and this is something I practiced for a long time with all the clients that I've worked with, or I've tried to anyway. So I tried to make that plan as realistic as possible, and I tried to create an environment where people felt very as comfortable as they could do, telling me the reality of their situation. So it's all well and good. Yeah, I'm going to train every day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it 110%. I'm here. I'm going to make it happen, and blah, 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 blah. 9 times out of 10, that's probably not what's going to happen. What is really going to happen is, well, I don't know. But ideally, I try and create a conversation where we start talking about the logistics of that person's day-to-day life. And if they've got like a full-time job, they've got like a partner, or they've got like responsibilities, family responsibilities, they've got children, they may have other side projects that they're doing. Um, the things vary, but there's lots of things that may inhibit somebody's ability to basically be so dedicated that they're going to train every single day at 100% and for like 2 hours a day or whatever. That's unlikely. It's not practical. So we want practicality, and if somebody can do, once you get to the point in the conversation where they're like, all right, likelihood is I'm probably going to do 2 to 3 times a week of exercise. Great. Now we can plan for 2 to 3 times a week of exercise. So rather than setting yourself up to fail by saying I'm going to train every single day when that's not happened before, you haven't got a track record of that, the way your life is set up is unlikely that you can facilitate that. And thirdly, and most importantly, you probably don't even want to do it. Like, you don't want to work out every day. You just have this idea, perhaps, that maybe that's what's needed to get the thing that you do want, which is whatever your outcome is. Again, you don't need to train every single day. You only need to do what you can do consistently over a long period of time. So if that means that you're only doing exercise twice a week, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's significant if you do it every week, for many years, especially if you haven't been doing anything prior to that consistently, you will get a result. So, cool, we're going to make a plan, we say 2 to 3 times a week, right? And you even create a range. So, because there's some weeks where maybe you do train every single day, I don't know. But if we know at very minimum that you can do twice, then you make a plan for that. And then it just trickles down from there, like what types of exercises, what kind of exercise, what are we talking about, what are you actually going to do twice a week, and again, just becoming very realistic based on what's practical for you, based on the logistics of your life, and what you actually want to do and what you're actually likely to do based on your behavior as a person and who you are. So it's very important that you take that into account when making a plan. Now, as far as freestyling goes, again, this generally tends to suit people who understand already that they're not going to be able to stick to a plan. So you get those types. And then, or two, you get people that are sort of maybe in a very good place with exercise. I'm certainly a bit more of a freestyler, so I don't really like following plans so much. I'm not necessarily trying to get a specific outcome. I just understand and recognize the value of exercise to my well-being, and just being able to have lots of different options and be able to kind of do what I feel like on that particular day. Because some days I might feel like, you know, doing something like lifting really heavy weights quite a lot of times, and some days I might not feel like doing anything, and just maybe playing around doing 10 minutes of handstands is me ticking that box for that day. So I will follow a plan from time to time, because sometimes, like, okay, I do want some progression in something and I understand what it takes, and then I'll do that for a short period of time. But for the most part, I'm likely to freestyle, and I think it's something that would suit most people. But one of the things with freestyling is you kind of have to already have some understanding of how to exercise. You got to at least know a number of different things that you can do, be somewhat practiced in those things to then sort of like ebb and flow with it, day to day, week to week. So if you're a beginner, or even somewhere in that sort of beginner intermediate range, maybe having a plan is really good, because not only do you have some sort of structure and something to follow and some level of accountability, but you also get to learn new exercises, new exercise methods, and you eventually will become somebody that can be a bit more self-sufficient with it. And if you're a freestyler, hopefully you're already quite well versed, and you can just sort of ebb and flow between different types of exercise, whatever you feel for on that particular day. Or and again, you can freestyle with sport, right? Like you can just play tennis or football, or do some skipping, or go to an exercise class. Exercise classes, I think, are like the epitome of freestyling to some extent, because you don't really know what you're getting until you turn up. And obviously the facilities generally have a lot of random exercises pulled together, and they chop and change it quite often. So you do get a bit of variety, and it's freestyling, quite frankly. So yeah, there's lots of ways to go about it. So you've got your sort of training plan and freestyle scenarios. Hopefully I've somewhat made that understandable. I don't know if I did. As always, you're welcome to ask questions on these things. These are all going to be so I'm moving over from Instagram TV to YouTube, so you can make comments on the YouTube channel, and I'll be able to see those and respond to them. If you have any, if you want me to clear this up anymore, uh, I'll just finish with some take homes. So, you know, if you're looking for a specific outcome, having a plan is a very good idea. Uh, if you just need to start looking after yourself a little bit more, um, freestyling, it will kind of allow you to be a bit more, make decisions a bit more based on your mood that day. But if you are a beginner, having a plan that's sort of adjusted to you is maybe probably be a better shout initially than going straight into freestyling. And yeah, whatever you're doing, the whole whichever route that you pick, it should just be designed so that it's working for you better than it was before, right? Especially if you're going into a plan. All right, I'm gonna call it there. I had no idea how long this particular video is. I can go longer now because YouTube doesn't have a time limit, and I'll probably be trying to get little snippets if there's anything useful and post them onto Instagram for you guys that don't necessarily want to sit through and watch the YouTube video or listen to the Spotify audio podcast. But yeah, thank you for listening. Feel free to like, comment, share, all of that good stuff. We'll be back again with more topics to discuss in regards to health and fitness. All right, thank you for listening. Bye.